Okay, so I did so much complaining in the last vlog that this one I really want to point out everything that I actually love about life and why I do feel great about life right now just as much as I have a lot of complaints and negative things to say about it. This doesn't have to do with the fact that I'm a third beer in right now, but I had a pretty great day today and yesterday, so that's definitely shifted my mind a little bit, or just like I just feel a little different than I did earlier this week at least, which is nice. I personally just get affected way too much by external things that I can't control, and I am always just on like kind of a feedback loop in my mind, just always frustrated about how much doesn't really make sense in the world, and how much just is really, you know, how many things are actually really tragic and really sad. I feel a lot of sadness for the world, I guess, and I want to do so much, but I feel so powerless. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. So that's where a lot of that comes from, you know. That's where I'm just affected by things way too much. And I want to say that I wish that I wasn't, but, you know, I don't think I'd give a shit at all if I wasn't affected by it so much, or if I didn't, you know, feel something like that from it. If I didn't, and because it does directly affect me, it's also selfish. It is selfish in a lot of ways to like want to make the world a better place so that it's less of a headache for you to live in. You know, that's why I want the world to be a better place, so that I'm not dealing with people's, you know, just ridiculous incompetence and lack of common sense, and just, you know, I can go on and on as far as like why you know, people kind of ruin things sometimes. But I also don't. I think that things are so complex, and things are so backwards in the USA, especially. A lot of things are so backwards, and people aren't living well, and that is why, you know, that's what can lead to that incompetence, is because people, I don't know if people are dumb so much as they have like a lot that's on their mind that they aren't being present. I don't know if Americans are like good at being present and just kind of existing and appreciating the moment and trying to like enjoy a you know, a nice meal or a beer with some friends, you know. Everything here is about success and status and success and status, and just it goes on and on. People wanting to chase the all too real and necessary evil that is financial security and plenty of income, right? Anyway, yeah, all these things are just, as you get older, as I've gotten older, like I obsess over them. I obsess over like how much pressure I feel on myself with those things, you know. And where I would like to be. Enough about me, though. I just want to add context for why I might, you know, absolutely fucking blow up on here sometimes, or why I might like get so angry and frustrated at that stuff, at just life in general, because of how much is so backwards, and it does make sense, and people are really struggling and suffering and genuinely living like such unhappy lives in this time where we have everything. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense how we have so much. We have so much. The smartphone is a miracle, is an absolute fucking miracle. Like, there's so many things that are insanely convenient nowadays, and that convenience, like a lot of people have said, obviously this is nothing new. I'm not adding anything new to the conversation here, but yes, like, convenience and an easier lifestyle, it turns out, makes people extremely lazy and stupid and not want to do anything, you know. People even being bored, they can't be bored. They can't sit with their own thoughts and sit with themselves. I heard when I was in college for like 2 seconds. Now, I didn't go out right out of high school. I went when I was like 21, like a couple of years later. But like when I went, something that I'm glad I was at an age where I could appreciate what the professors were trying to teach us, because a lot of things I did take away and still think of I took a lot of things from that and think about it to this day still. One of my professors told me that these people did an experiment where they would put people in a room and they would just have them sit there for like 10 minutes doing nothing, and they'd either choose to sit and do nothing or push a button that would give them an electric shock. And a lot of people, more often than not, you would think they wouldn't, but a lot of people would actually touch the button to get the electric shocks because they couldn't sit for 10 minutes with their own thoughts or sit in silence for too long. They were like freaked out at the, I guess that's like what people are very freaked out about, confronting themselves and confronting things that they, they're not making a decision about. I don't know, like most people's problems, I think it come from what I'm saying, external things outside of our control, as well as personal issues that we don't want to admit to ourselves, and personal things that we don't want to deal with. It's so easy to put off things, but when you put off things for like 20 or 30 years, when you really don't, it's the most tragic thing of that, or the worst part about that, is how you would just be wasting time not moving on from something that you really should probably move on from. What I'm trying to move on personally is just from what I'm talking about right now, being affected too much by what has happened. But maybe if it wasn't the literal like worst time right now, I probably wouldn't feel that way. But every single thing that happens to every innocent person, every single thing that happens in the world affects me like way too much. And it's where I can't be on the internet sometimes, and I can't look at like the news, and I can't like inform myself. And at the same time, I feel like it's my duty as a citizen of this country I think like to not be informed is also, to not be informed at all is just as bad, if not worse. So I don't know. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation when it comes to the comes to the internet and being fed this just unnecessary, overwhelming amount of bad news and information that you probably don't need. But I get affected too much by everything around me, and I don't know what to do lately. That's all. I don't know. I get very in my head about these things as far as I'd love to look at myself as like a nice, collected, like calm kind of stoic individual, or I'd love to be somebody that is just able to be able to remain calm in whatever situation. But I kind of it doesn't take much for me to lose my shit, and that's something I'm just trying to work on. I also wonder if there's any point in work on anything, because I wonder if people are just kind of doomed to be who they're meant to be as well. Like, are we ever really going to change who we are? Do we ever really change our bad habits or the things that we don't like about ourselves? Do we ever actually grow and move on past anything? I don't know. I really don't know. I think that's purely a choice that every individual has to make on their own terms, but there's no rush to these things either. I put like an unnecessary amount of pressure on myself to be better and be the best and be like as good as I can at anything and everything. And when I feel that I fuck up, or I feel like other people are making, or other people are like pointing a finger at me or something, I can get very defensive and feel like, and I think I'm more defensive now, because for a while I would just accept that I was the asshole, and I would be like, yeah, you're right, I'm an asshole. And at the same time, I look back, and a lot of times that I would just take the finger pointing and not speak up, and it was just because I didn't want to cause the I had like issues with confrontation for a long time. Now I try to like tackle it head on and just be like, no, I don't feel that I'm wrong in this situation. I feel like I'm in this weird. I'm in this middle point right now, or like this in between area right now, where I feel like I'm growing out of a lot of bad habits, and then also feeling stuck in them forever. And it's just kind of random as far as which ones I feel like I'm moving on from and which ones I'm not. But I really, my personal things, I really just want as far as any personal issues that I really want to fix, and mainly to not bother other people with them as much, like not bother my friends with it, not bother my families with, is I really want to like not complain. I want to not be so vocal about my feelings constantly, which is obviously, as you're watching this, you could see that I'm not doing that here in this moment right now. But I want to not be so vocal about, like, I'm talking about in real life. All this stuff that I post on here, all this is kind of for me personally, or for, you know, me to kind of, like, I'll always say this is just kind of a thing for myself, and I kind of want to, I don't know, I like just the freedom of being able to do whatever I want on this channel is really all that it comes down to. So if I feel like talking in front of the camera for an hour straight about whatever's on my mind, that's what I'm going to be doing. But this is Stella, by the way, the best beer in the world. This is a glass that a friend of mine gave me. I don't really talk to him anymore, but I miss him, and I hope he's doing well. But this is I've had this glass for years. He gave it to me on my birthday, I think, and I really love this thing. So yeah, that's. I guess I just want to always have this moment coming back to who I feel like I really am, which is more so, is just way different than how I feel most of the time. I get really like hard to be around when I'm just in a depressive state or in an angry mood, in a really shitty place. And then it's weird. It's like if something happens or something, you know, actually goes well in some way, then then that can really change my mood quick, you know. And that's what I mean, being affected too much by the external. If things are going good, I'm feeling really good, and if things are going bad, I'm feeling really fucking bad. So I don't want to lose my cool so easily over things. I don't want to lose my shit that much anymore, or like I don't know, just be I like live in my shit too much. I live in my shitty feelings for too long sometimes, and I dwell and obsess over them and just kind of like stay there. I don't want to like stay in those places, you know? And I don't want, I want to be able to not only be emotionally intelligent, but be able to, like I said, move on from things a little more quickly and be able to just process and resolve it, and like resolve it internally, and then just, yeah, and then I don't know, just get past it. Because what's hard about when I have those moments is like I said, I could just stay stuck in it, and I don't know how to get out. Like I'll really get stuck in some low, like just really feeling so bad about myself. I felt like that, not like I felt a little bit of that earlier today, and I was feeling a little bit of that yesterday, but just the last week, for some reason, like up until yesterday and today, I felt really off, and I don't know why, you know? Sometimes it just happens, and I wonder if I have to accept that that's just like how I get sometimes, and that I just, I don't know if I don't think I have bipolar disorder or OCD or anything like that. I honestly think I just, like, if I don't have a project, like now that this album's released and it's done, if I don't have a project or something that is really taking up my attention, like for so long, then for a good amount of time, then I really resort back to my bullshit kind of my bored feelings, or the person that I am when I'm really bored and have nothing to occupy my brain or my time. And then once I'm bored, it's that typical, like, I'll just kind of resort to my default setting, which is just finding everything wrong with my life, finding everything wrong with myself and other people and society, and just looking at everything that's like a down. And I don't know how to like come back up out of that. It's a really awful feeling, looking at things so negatively, and then like you just stay stuck in that negativity where it's like nothing, even the feelings. Like I literally have had moments where I'm in the worst mood, and then it's like that's one thought, and then I have another thought that's saying, but what about this? What about love? What about all those times you felt good? And it's like throwing a little cup of water on a giant bonfire or something. You know, it doesn't really do anything. It's like the littlest thing can set me off too, and make me feel so different. And I don't know why it is. I'm sorry. I said that this was going to be a lighter thing, and now I've been talking about sad shit. See, it's like I just know how to be sad. If I was an actor, I'd be like more likely to do dramas than comedies, because I'm better at that. I'm better at being like a serious person, I think, in a lot of ways, and I take life too seriously, and I am like such a serious person. And I don't know. I'm just forever chasing the idea of like that one day I'll finally know like 100% like who I am, and also realizing that I'm just a person, and I'm getting through the suffering of life and dealing with it in my own way. And that's like I don't like to think about that. Like I don't like to think about, like, I want to have such control over everything and have such a, like, be strong-willed in how much I do have in control in my life, and knowing that there's so much like random chaos in the world that you really don't have control. Like COVID was such a holy shit moment, like a holy shit, like we don't have control over anything, you know. like there's so much shit out of our, and I'm not laughing at the situation, it was awful so many people died, but and it was like a really awful time for just people in general. Everyone was like really sad, and really you know, me and my buddies were just all escaping into some online gaming to get our minds off of that shit because of how just awful it was at the time. But the realization of that, of like, damn, like anytime like something like that can just happen and completely take away a lot of what, you know, at the time I was a gigging musician. I was starting to like kind of make more money at that time and really start to get more into gigging for real. And I think I just released an album actually as well. I released like my first EP around that time. And then immediately that happened. It was just like, oh my God, like I'm sure a lot of people felt like, why do I even try? Why do we even bother? But the struggle is the point, I think. I think that's a much better word than like the journey, the cliche term of like everyone wanting to call things a journey. And it's like, we want to feel, you know, because what goes with that? The hero's journey. So we want to, like, everyone wants to like look at themselves as this hero of their own story and going through this journey. And it's like such a cliche thing, but I think it's more so like going through the suffering and going through the struggle, like the actual struggle of life, and the, like, how humbling it is when you're not born into just insane amount of wealth just because, you know, when you're not born into that, you you know, you look at all this stuff very differently. That's all. You see the how tough it is for everybody. You know, you see how stressful it is. Like just something as simple as making money. Oh, and we lost the light. I've been using it a lot lately, but I guess that's a sign to cut it here. The lighting looks kind of cool like this, to be honest. That felt like a very appropriate time for that to turn off. But yeah, okay. The last thing I'll say is I think that life is a really beautiful thing in a lot of ways. I think life is worth living. I think that a lot of people have a lot of incredible, just, you know, like a lot of people have qualities in them that they have not tapped into, that cannot be replicated, that no one can hold a candle up to. And I think that a lot of my sadness comes from the lack, like not the lack, but the lost potential of what a lot of people could be. And I want to see humanity win the battle against itself. I want humanity to win the war against itself, I should say, because it's been losing many battles over just our entire existence. But I think that I believe that humanity can win. And I believe that we can. I want to believe that. I want to believe that people can be better. And I want to believe that life can always be better. Which is where I'll always argue, I think having a negative mindset is actually, it can be a really positive thing, because there's like a lot of hidden positivity in that, or whatever, that we don't think about, which is, you know, thinking that things can be better, and we have to fix what isn't making it better. That's like how I look at the why I might look at a lot of things negatively. It's just like, this sucks. I want it to not suck. What can I do to make it less shitty? What can I do to help? And the only reason I obsess over the success of this channel or my music or anything like that is because if I did have a lot of people that were, you know, wanting wanting me to deliver some sort of message, or wanting me to, like, if I was in a position where I could make a difference and could make a change for people after dealing with all the bullshit I've dealt with in my life, just like actually having to suffer through life, to being a 33-year-old man who's like, I have no idea what's going to happen for me for the next few years. It could be, it could be really, I'm very excited to see what my life has for the next couple of years. However long I have, however much time I have left, I'm excited just to have that time left, I guess, too. Not that I'm young. I don't think that I'm going to die anytime soon, but I hope I don't, at least. But people die every day. People die at any age. Anyway, I want things to be, if I could die knowing that I had some sort of positive influence on the world with my music, or just had some like not even positive, just like if I could add some sort of beauty into the world and remind other people that life is beautiful, and it's beautifully sad, it's beautifully, it's kind of beautifully chaotic, and a lot of times, like a lot of things that I complain about, I'll probably be so grateful to be able to complain about these things instead of where I'm gonna be years from now, when I'm older and life is harder and people that I really love and care about aren't around anymore. When people start dying, it gets even worse. So I'm just grateful that a lot of people that I love and care about are still alive. I'm grateful for anybody watching these videos, and I really don't mean to be so goddamn serious all the time. But right now feels like such a serious time. I honestly think I will feel differently if I feel like there's some light at the end of the tunnel soon. And if I see something change in my own life and career that I could like try to do some more good than I have been doing, Not that I haven't been, I don't know, I'm always trying to do good, but what I mean is if you can have more of a large scale of that, it's like, why wouldn't I want that? Why wouldn't I want my music to bring some good to the world and be able to like maybe, bring that love to everybody? Bring that some sort of, that's all of my songwriting. I want my songwriting to ever be, or whatever I want any of these videos to be, is some sort of like deep connection to the viewer in some intimate way, or just giving some sort of, spreading the love of art and the love of creation with other people. And yeah, that's all I could ever hope for. But cheers to you all. Thank you for watching the videos. I had a really weird roller coaster of this last week or two, but I had some beers with my dad today, and I had a really great time, and I get to be with this little one right here. Look at how fucking adorable he is. He's so tired, he's just like kind of napping all the time lately. And yeah, a lot of dogs do that. A lot of dogs are energetic or just straight up napping, but yeah, he's so small. He's like 6 pounds or some shit. Anyway, much love to y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to I should try to make these more fun. Maybe I should try to make these more I don't know, entertaining in some way, but I'm loving just kind of throwing the camera on and seeing what happens whenever I feel like talking about. I want to feel love, and I want to not be affected so much if that love isn't given back to me. That's okay, but I don't want it to affect me so much anymore, is all. Alright, bye.